Being born into the world is a challenge for any animal, but it's twice as difficult for birds. Chicks have to muster all their strength just to break the shell. They're already born exhausted, also immobilized and blind. And this is just the beginning, because only one chick out of 10 will eventually survive. Birds eat insects. This food chain works perfectly as long as the ants don't get involved, then food turns into a predator. Some ant species really don't mind tasting someone's meat, but none of them act the way red fire ants do. It's an invasive species that quickly invades new territories and attacks bird nests. And when I say attacks, I mean a real, proper attack. Can you imagine what the attacks of some nomadic tribes look like? They're like a hurricane. Ants do not crawl into nests to find food among the trash and then quietly leave. Instead, they are waiting for the chicks to hatch because they are the most delicious snack. The egg yolk attracts worker ants, and they quickly alert the others about the food source. These insects have spies everywhere. Come in, this is Steve 1. You copy? Buns in the window. I repeat, buns in the window. You copy? This might be funny, of course, but not to the chicks. Red fire ants can literally eat them alive, as they are very weak and also not protected by feathers. Worst birthday ever. In regions with an abundance of fire ants and where trees are not treated with any pesticides, up to 22% of the chicks die, becoming a dinner for the ant colony. Just think about it, 22%. This is not counting deaths from other causes, because newborn birds do not need much to quit the game. Too cold, too warm, too humid, not enough food, or maybe the mother accidentally hurt them with her back. In short, there are many ways. And now there are also ants? Wait a minute. Why do ants even eat meat? I mean, they're tiny. Are their jaws really big enough to bite it off? Oddly enough, yes. Of course, ants will hardly handle the skin of an elephant, but when it comes to a chick that has just emerged from the shell, it's not hard. Yes, it'll take them longer than an ordinary predator, but there's strength in numbers. It'll take ants about 10 days to entirely consume a large catfish. Now, try to guess how quickly the ants will actually deal with the chick. Here's a simple example. The ants in this video are not fire ants, but it took them 21 hours to gnaw the dead chick to the bones. Most likely, it would take an invasive species even less time, because when you take over a planet, you need to hurry. And if you still think it's weird that ants eat meat, although they're supposed to carry all sorts of leaves, grains, and sweet water, then here's a fact confirmed by research. Ants eat more meat than lions, wolves, and tigers combined. In general, they consume a huge amount of very different food, and they do it all the time. Seems like anything is good enough for ants. Fruits, sausages, live chicks, electricity. Ha! Wait, what? You heard right. Some ants are so omnivorous, they can even consume electricity. Well, sort of. The raspberry ant, also known as a crazy ant, loves electrical wiring for some unknown reason. Together with fire ants, it is ready to climb power lines, live in transformers, switchboards, and even computers. Do you think the cooler inside your laptop is making a strange noise? Perhaps it's not a standard issue after all. Usually, the ants take over electrical devices in a rather ridiculous, though effective way. One ant gets into the transformer and grazes against the hot wire, it gets electrocuted, and the ant immediately releases pheromones, which lure even more ants. The ants who come to the call touch the wires or their fallen comrade, they also get electrocuted, pheromones are released again, and even more ants are called to the spot. Soon enough, there are so many dead ants that the insulation is fried and the system short circuits. Fire ants work roughly the same way. They disable air conditioners and water pumps. Hell, any device plugged into the network is at risk. Fire ants are known to target traffic lights and even airport runways. Of course, when people saw all the chaos, they began to look for solutions. As it usually happens, pesticides prove to be the most effective way, but they can kill not only ants, but all living things around, and they decided to use flies. Phorid flies use ants as an incubator. They attack quickly, lay eggs quickly, and fly away just as quickly. All that's left is to wait until the larva develops inside, and then the ant's head will simply fall off. It's quite hard to live without a head. Just ask Ned Stark. Does this mean the chicks are doomed unless they have a few trained flies nearby? Well, they must be able to somehow get out of the nest. There are also no fences. They just need to jump over the edge and... Okay, actually, it's not that simple. To prevent chicks from jumping out of the nest whenever they want to take a walk, nature has installed a special program in their brains. This program protects the chicks from death. Well, at least from death by gravity. Though it may be bothersome when they try to kill you in your own cradle. No wonder chicks try to get out of the nest as soon as possible. Ants are not the only issue they have. The nest only seems cozy, warm, and safe. In most cases, it's an awful, cramped, parasite-infested place where you don't want to be at all. Parasites carry diseases, and if the chick does not get out of the parental home quickly enough, parasites may as well kill it. Don't forget about the siblings, which also make the nest cramped. Who would want to live in such conditions? I've had enough. First the ants, then you have to share with everyone. No pushing. No taking food from your sister. That's it. I'm leaving. But guess what happens to chicks that leave the nest too early, not having time to fledge? Yeah, they can't fly yet, so they just fall to the ground. Again, gravity. Heartless gravity. To somehow protect their offspring, which is trying to change living conditions and stay safe from parasites, parents catch ants. They do it so persistently they may well get rid of all of them. Well, from all the ants that attack today. As I said, the strength of insects lies in numbers. It does not matter how many ants an adult bird will eat. There are hundreds or even thousands of times more of them in the nearest anthill. Defending the nest is really a very hard and thankless duty. Maybe they should build the nests as tough as possible in the first place. Don't get me wrong. I don't know much about building nests and I'm not a bird. But there must be other ways, right? Fortress walls? Moat with crocodiles? Well, at least nests on cacti. Cactus wrens do just that. They set up dwellings for their offspring not just in some random place, but right in the middle of the spines of the cactus called Calandropuntia biglovii. Wow, what a name. Of course, the cactus has a shorter nickname, cholla. Not sure if it would help against ants, but if you've seen a cholla at least once, you know that this cactus is not to be messed with. Not a single predator in his right mind will approach such a nest, because these cacti are called flying for a reason. Of course, a cactus jumping on a person is just a legend. In fact, the merest touch is enough to leave a bit of cactus stuck to you tightly. Tightly is a good way to put it. Tearing off the cholla bit is not only hard, but also very, very painful.
Okay, hold on. It's gonna hurt. Oh my God!
If predators and parasites were the only problem of the chicks, don't forget about cold, hunger, and a bunch of other factors that prevent them from at least reaching fledgling. Sometimes the nest itself fails. Mourning doves are champions in building the most fragile nests in the most poorly chosen places. They say that sometimes they even ask people for help because they cannot cope on their own. This is probably damn frustrating. You build a nest, your chick hatches, and I already told you about falling. And even the strongest nests will not help if a strong wind rises. Is your baby blown out of the nest? That's a normal situation for albatrosses, and they're probably not happy about it. And what if it starts snowing? Bald eagles often face this issue. The only way to protect the offspring is to cover it with your body and try to warm it, even during the heaviest snowfall, because sooner or later it will end. And then what will the eagles do? Just one thing. They will get out. See you later.